Hello, and welcome to my course, Introduction to Computer Networks for Non-Techies. I'm glad that you signed up, and I'm happy that you're here because, number one, I know that you have lots of different options out there on the internet that are available for you when it comes to learning computer networking. And number two, I know that I have a lot of information that's going to be value added to you, both in your personal life and your professional life. So I'm glad to have you here. Now let's go ahead and let's spend a couple of minutes and let's go over the course curriculum. So what am I going to teach you, and more importantly, what are you going to get out of it? Well, the first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to do an overview and benefits of computer networks. So we're going to talk about what computer networks are, some basic ground rules for computers and how they communicate, and more importantly, why we use computer networks and how they benefit us both in our personal lives and in our professional lives as well. Then after that, in section 2, we're going to talk about the specifics of how computers work. So I'm going to do a broad overview of many different topics to give you a broad overview of how computer networks work. And this is really that 100,000 foot view. And then we're going to drop down into a lower view and get into more detail in later sections of the course. So after that, in section 3, we're going to talk about network topologies. So what do I mean by network topologies? Well, I mean logical topologies and physical topologies. Now that may not make a lot of sense right now, but it will as we go through the course. After that, in section 4, we're going to talk about the most common networking devices that you're going to be seeing and utilizing both in your own personal networks and also if you work in the IT sector or if you're a business professional and you are looking to get into IT. These are all devices that you're going to see on that side as well within your organizations that you work for. So we're going to talk about lots of different devices there. And then in section 5, we're going to talk about network cabling. So we have to talk about the cabling. We can't omit it. It's just as important as the devices. And so that's what we're going to cover in section 5. In section 6, we're going to cover something called the OSI model. And this is a framework that tells us and teaches us how information travels across the network. In section 7, we're going to talk about the process of planning a network design. So before you design a network, before you build a network, the first thing that you need to do is you need to plan. And that's what we're going to talk about in section 7. In section 8, we're going to do an introduction to the concept of the TCP/IP, and then in sections 9 all the way down through sections 12, we're going to talk about the different types of TCP/IP protocols and how they align with computer networking ports. And then in section 13 and 14, we're going to talk about IP addressing and subnetting. And then in sections 15, we're going to go ahead and close out the course, and we're going to talk about the process of designing a network. And that's everything we're going to cover in this course. As of right now, a total of 94 lectures and 7 hours of material. So like I said, this is an introduction to computer networking course for non-techies. That's why we're covering so many different topics and so many overarching topics. So I hope that you get a lot out of this course. And if you have any questions throughout this course, please feel free to ask me questions on the course discussion board. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next lecture.